Uh, Hi to everyone. Welcome back to another video session on national income and accounting. See, in the last class, we were trying to understand some methods which are in connected with the calculation of national income. There are three methods are there of calculating of national income, which we have already tried to understand in the last class. And I want you to pay attention clearly first. And moreover, in detail we'll discuss there are the three methods are there of calculation of national income. First one is called income method. Second one is called expenditure method. And third one is called product method. So coming to the all these three methods, listen up. There are three methods are there of calculating of national income. So coming to the among the three, first one is the income method, second one is an expenditure method, third one is a product method. Coming to the first method, income method. See, income of a country, as we have started a discussion, it is not a simple task of calculating each and every source of income of each and every individual in a country. Of calculating of each individual income, then there is a greater task. For that, one has to go by one simple formula of calculating of national income. And moreover, this income considers on the distribution side, where how the income is generated from the different sources. For that, you have to go by the income method and the simple method as well as the simple formula which lies behind the story of income is about in the closed economy or a circular flow of economy, you come across with the outer circle as well as the inner circle. In the inner circle, how the household sector will receive money from the firm sector for the factors of production in the form of factor services. Then that is called W plus R plus I plus pi. In simple, W stands for wages, okay, R stands for rent, I stands for interest, and pi stands for profit. In such case, income method, which is the addition of all the incomes of each and every household, each and every individual which have been collected together in a country in a year, then that is called the income method. Then that can be expressed as like this. So sum of all the income of all individuals, M stands for all individuals of a country. So sum of height of every individual is a sum of 4 elements, and those 4 elements are so R plus W plus I plus pi. R stands for rent from land, wages for the services in the form of wages or salaries what will generate. I, the investments, the amount of interest what we are going to get on the investment, and pi stands by doing the different types of a business. Okay, so whatever the each and every individual will generate an income in the form of profit. If you add up all these 4, then that the method is called an income method of calculating of national income. In a elaborated way, we can go by the formula. So it's a sum total of I of all individuals. Then that is all about first one. Then that is called sum of I equals to R, okay, plus sum of all individuals of every individuals which have been received in the form of wages as well as a bit of rent. Then followed by sum total of all individuals of every individual. I means every individual in the form of so interest plus sum total of all individuals means every individuals the amount of profit. Then this is a formula which has been elaborated in the form of rent on the land, in the form of wages and salaries and remunerations, and followed by the amount of interest. Okay, so on the different investments and securities and all. And the last one is about the amount of profit which have been generated by each every individual, that is a household in a country. If we club together, then that the sum of money is called as the income of a country. In simple, we can express as income method is a subtotal of factor services. Then that is called income method of all individuals equals to it's the amount of W plus R plus I plus as well as pi. If we add up all the incomes, then we can generate the total income of a country. This is a one method, and this is a method where it is applicable when the income of a country is possible to dig information from the different sources. If a country is not providing any kind of information of each and every individuals, or individual is not able to give a kind of information regarding what they have generated an income from the different sources, if it is not possible to dig kind of a data, then this method is not suitable. And moreover, this method is suitable in case of a developed countries due to advanced techniques and technologies, so where one can easily find out the source of income, the source of method for income generation, one can easily calculate the income of a country. But moreover, this method is not suitable a country like India. Coming to the second method, that is called expenditure method. So far, we have discussed first method of calculating of national income, then that is called income method. If you wanted to go by the second method, then that the method is called expenditure method. Expenditure method we generally look after on the demand side or expenses side of the country. The amount of aggregate demand of expenditure, if you wanted to check out in the market, then we have to go by of calculating of national income through by expenditure method. Here the expenditure, people, government, each and every individual, you, me, everyone will spend huge amount of money either for consumption, either for savings, either for in the form of paying the taxes, okay, either in the form of investments. We do different types of an expenditure. If we add up all individual amount of expenditure clubbed together, then that's the method of calculating of income of a country, then that is called the expenditure method. And this method, it is an opposite version of a income method. When income is not able to trace of particular household, you can check out the another side of analyzing income, then that is called expenditure of a person. For example, if you wanted to ask a particular person regarding their incomes, if that person is refusing of highlighting the amount of income what he has earned from another way, then you can check out the another phase of income generation, then that is called expenditure. Then that's the method where we can indirectly easily one can calculate the overall expenditure, then that is an equivalent to amount of incomes. Likewise, if I am earning some 10,000 but I am not revealing a 10,000, then check out my expenditures. Then I cannot spend more than what I have. In such case, then the analyzing the another way of income, then that is called an expenditure method, by clubbing of all the expenditure of each and every household, each and every individual, each and every institutions, even government, and each and every entity in a country. If you wanted to dig their expenditure part, then that's the method of calculating of national income, and that is called expenditure method. Then that the formula is very simple. Expenditure method which check out on the demand side of a country, then that can be expressed as like this: GDP, that is the national income of a country. The expenditure method can be calculated as like this. Then that is called C plus I plus G plus as well as net X. So this is a method where we can analyze the amount of expenditure done by the different peoples in a country, including individuals as well as institutions. Now coming to the first one, here C stands. C stands here. consumption expenditure done by the people of a country. C stands for consumption expenditure which is done by the people of a country. You, me, everyone, we used to spend huge amount of money directly or indirectly for our day-to-day as well as any kind of expenditures. That is one sort of expenditure out of our earnings. First one. Second one, we not only spend our money only for the consumption purpose or the different need, even we go for a investment expenditure. Investment expenditure. We used to invest on gold, we used to invest on vehicles, we used to invest on different commodities, sometimes our own life, career and all. We used to invest different securities, bonds and many more. Okay, and likewise, it's another type of an expenditure even done by the government. Here the G stands for government. Government consumption as well as investment expenditure. Investment expenditure. Now coming to the point, so government will does the same thing. Okay, how the individual will consume, how individual will invest in the same order. Government will also does of running up of the government entities or public sectors and all. Then government will spend out of their earnings. Then that is called government expenditure. Even government will do their investment activities on different public utility services. You know the public utility services. Now coming to the point, net X. Here the net X stands for export expenditure. So you might have heard about the foreign trade where it deals with the exports and imports and interport. Then coming to the to selling of goods to the rest of the world, then that is an expenditure which is connected with the exports. Then that is called exports expenditure. If you add up all the expenditure, exports expenditure, then we will derive complete the GDP of a country on the expenditure side. Then this is another way of analyzing income of a country by the expenditure method, by assembling, by aggregating of all expenses which has been done by the individuals, which has been done by the institutions, which has been done by the government, and even all the individual as well as the government in connection with the exports from the country. Then this is the second method where we can analyze the income of a country. An elaborated formula is there of calculating of national income and expenditure method. And this is an expenditure which deals with the sum of all the expenditures of the country. Then that is called sum of all individuals, institutions, government and other parties in the country, equivalent to of height of every individual, equivalent to, it's a sum of nth value, means each and every individual, institution and government of consumption expenditure okay, by the individuals of the country. Then sum total of all individual institutions as well as the height of every individual in the form of investment. Okay, then at the same time other formula then expanded as in connection with the G. Then sum total of I unit of complete government expenditure, each and every, which includes local body to the central body. Then coming to the next one, then that is a sum total of all individual institutions and everyone who are concerned with the exports trade is concerned. Then that deals with the net X of I. Then this is the formula which we used to apply to calculate national income, that too by expenditure method. Simplified formula you already know it. Then that is an exactly the meaning of GDP. Then that is called C plus I plus G plus net X. So this is a formula which we used to go by the simplified one. Then that is called GDP equals to C plus I plus G plus net X. And this is one way of understanding the income of a country. If you want to go by the another method, then that is called third method, product method. Okay. And this method, which states about the expenditure, if a government is able to provide an income, means regarding the data of the complete details of the expenditure which has been done by the different purposes, then one can dig. But even when this is not possible to derive a particular information and all, then you have to go by third method. Then the third method, which is known as the product method. Okay, this is the product method. So when it is not possible to take the information regarding the national income in the first and the second method, then we have to go by the third one, that is called product method. And this is the product method where we have already come across the different types of goods. And if you want to consider by the third method of calculating of national income, then there is again two more sub methods will come under the same heading. So first one here, then that is called final good or final output method. Okay. Second one, then that is called the value added method. Value added method. And this is the product method, which is also called as an inventory method or stock method. If some of the goods are there in a market which have been directly consumed, some of the goods are there which have been processed with a number of stages. So still the conversion into the final product, it is still considered as an intermediate good, like wood is considered, like cotton is considered. Okay. In such case, if we wanted to have clear-cut information about the value of a good, then amount of expenditure done by the people out of their income, then we can go by the first method, and that is called the final good method or a final output method. When the product is readily available in the market for a market price, and when a consumer or anyone, when he pays out of their incomes, then that the income has been considered for the amount of what they have paid for it or the product market price, then that the method is called final product method. For example, you can go by the bread. Okay, for the day-to-day activities, you may go and consume bread from the bakers. Okay, and that the bread which is readily available in the market, it has been come across with a number of process, like from the farmers to the flour mills, then flour mills to bakers, then bakers to retailers, retailers to ultimate consumers. When it has gone through the 4 to 5 stages, and if you are considering only the value of the bread what we paid out of our income, then that is called final product method or output method. But if you wanted to have at the each stage what the value actually added on understanding of every value which has been added at every stage, then another method of assessing the exact cost figure, then that is called a value added method. So for that you need to go by one small example, and the example is very clear. That is, let's take an example of same bread. Okay, and the bread which is not directly digged from the soil. Okay, so you cannot put the seeds of the bread and you cannot get the bread from the earth, right? In such case, so that the bread has come across with the number of stages. At every stage, the value of the raw item has been increased. For example, when farmer produces wheat, okay, when he produces wheat, he'll add his cost and some margin of profit, then he'll sell to the flour mills, and the output of the farmer will become input for the flour mills. Okay, then those flour mills and all, the millers we can call them, the millers will take as wheat and they make it into flour. Then that the flour will directly transform to the n number of bakers. Okay, then those bakers will take the output of the flour mills or the millers in the form of flour. It become again as an input for the bakers, the bakery. Okay, and those bakers will consider that as an input, and again they will convert into in the form of final good. Then that is called a bread. Then that the bread will go by the n number of retailers nearby, the bakers and all, the bakery sell traders, and those bakers directly maybe the selling point of selling to the ultimate consumers. And my question is about, when product has been exchange with the n number of stage, with the n number of middlemen and all. At each stage, the value of that input, when it become output, and when that output become again input for some other producer, each stage, each stage, the value of that product got increased. In such case, if you are considering only the value which is added at the each higher stage, the value which is added at each higher stage, then that the point is called value added method. So for that you need to go by one small schedule is there, one particular table where you can understand easily regarding that table. And the other table which states about the point called the farmers. Assume there is a 4 stages are there of production of particular bread. So first one is called from the farmers, next one from millers, then that is called flour mills, then the next one bakers, the bakeries and the retailers. Now coming to the first, when farmers start to get produced, assume has produced some wheat, then that the wheat has supplied in the market at rupees 500, and this is the 500 which includes the margin as well as the cost which has engaged with the production of wheat, and there is no need of input because the output which is produced by the farmers directly will consider as 500 rupee. Then this 500 will become as a input, okay, for the flour mills, and they are not going to sell for the same price in the market for the next stage. They may add some margin, they may sell at 800, and the value which is added here for the 500 when they have taken as an input, they cannot sell it as for 500, they have to sell more than they got, then that is for 800. Here the value which is added, the output minus input, the output minus input, which is the value which is added at the second stage by the flour millers, then that is called 300 rupee. Then these flour mills, when they produce the output, then this the output again become as a input for the next stage. Then 800 here become as an 800 because here the margin which is added for the flour mills, and these they will take as bakers for 800, they will put for 1300. Okay. When they put so not 1300, let's go with the 1100. 800 they have taken as an input, and they want to add up into the different size of breads, and they want to make it for 1100. So output minus input, the amount of the value which is added at the third stage of production of a bread, then that is again rupees 300. Okay. When it becomes 300, again this 1100 of output of the bakers, again it become input for the next stage. Then at the next stage again amount of input become as it is 1100, and this 1100 they will sold it for the next stage. Next stage, then that is called 1100, they will add some margin, then that the margin is about they add some 200. When they add a 200 margin, then that will be sold for rupees 1300. So this is the value which has been finally finalized by the retailers, which has goes in the hands of the ultimate consumers. Let's take total of it. Okay. Here, so 500 plus 3 800, then 1000, then 1300. The total amount which has been added at each higher stage, then that is rupees 1300, then there is a 1300 which has been taken as an output from the retailers. It means there are the two methods are there of product method. First method is called product method, that is a final value good. If you wanted to assess the income of a level at the each stage, you can go by the final value, which is deals with the retailers, or else if you wanted to go by the each stage, the value which is added for the product, then that is possible to go by the value added at each higher stage. Then at each higher stage when we add up, then that the method is called value added method. So these are the three methods are there of calculating of a national income. First one is called expenditure income method, followed by expenditure method, and third one is a final this one value added method. Okay. Among the three, anyone which is guaranteed for your people either for 4 months or 6 months, preferably that is for a last method. Okay. By the next session, we're going to discuss about the macroeconomic identities, which is the most interesting as well as a important topic of entire chapter. We can say that it's the heart of the story. Okay. If there is any queries out there, you can directly contact me. So go over the description button that lies there. With that number, you can contact me at any